The closed beta for College Football 26 ended last night at midnight, and since then, a lot of people that had access have been posting to their social media accounts all the new features and all the new functions for College Football 26 because they can no longer lose access considering that the beta has ended. And since I didn't record any of these things, there's nothing that can really happen to me, so I'm going to show you guys all of this stuff in today's video. But before I do, as always, if you want to see more videos like this, please make sure to be a subscriber, hit the like button, let me know in the comment section, as we do have a deep dive that should be coming up most likely on Thursday. I'm going to be making a video about that as well. So if you guys want to see that, make sure to be a subscriber. Other than that, let's get right into the video. Now, before I get into the leaks, I do want to go over some posts from X that Scott O'Gallagher, who's somebody that I talked about in a previous video, who's basically leading the charge when it comes to College Football 26 and Madden 26 now, as he's also leaked a lot of information about the upcoming game. And he has a new one here where he says, we're also introducing the all-new Heisman tier in the blog, which I'm sure will come out eventually. I'll break down how abilities connect with other systems on the field. There are some meaningful changes there, and he's referencing a tweet from somebody who actually had access and made a list of all the things that they liked about the new beta that I'm going to go over in this video. And I'm not going to read this whole list because a lot of these I'm going to go over with actual visuals, but I do want to read a few here that were not necessarily mentioned by other people. Things like dynamic abilities, which can go from gold to platinum if your player gets hot in a game. Some of the things that I want to go over, like the better pursuit angles, which a lot of people are saying is much better. They're saying that the new hit stick animations are massive, that people are getting absolutely laid out with the big hits, and I have seen some video of that. It says brand new defensive formation. Nickel has a lot, so you're going to see some new defensive packages, which is going to be nice because a lot of the College Football 25 ones are essentially just holdovers from college or from Madden, essentially. A lot of the same formations. You also have custom zones, which he says he didn't use a lot, as he mostly used zone drops, but it's really cool that you can set them when on the field, which I think is going to be very helpful. Which we're going to see how how customizable it is too. If you guys remember last year, we have the custom routes. Well, it sounds like you can do the same thing with the custom zones on defense, where in the custom stem you could set it to 5 yards to 6, 7, 8 yards if you use the D-pad versus the actual stick. I'm guessing you could set this depth the exact same way, but we really don't know yet, as that's something I don't have a lot of visuals for. But let's go over the gameplay changes first. As I first just want to show this clip of what the dynamic lighting looks like. You can see there's a lot of dark spots, a lot of shadowing, as there's really only one spot that's lit up on the field, and you can see in the background here that like half the crowd's lit up, while most people are in the dark, which is something that is making the visibility a little bit difficult. You can see it from this other angle that once again we have that one patch right through the center of the field there. I don't know if it'll be difficult going the other way into that, if you're in that blind spot or what, or how it's going to be. We also get our first look at dynamic weather, which I wasn't even sure was confirmed for this game. As you can see here, we have dynamic lighting with the players obviously having the light crossing to the point where they have 4 different shadows, but you can see the rain, you can see the new stadium pulse, you can see the logo for Lowe's underneath it, as well as the new scoreboard. All this stuff is obviously new, but then once you see the player start running, you can see how every time he's chopping, you're seeing water coming up off the field, you're seeing the breath of the cold. Obviously they're in the cold in this game, so you're seeing a lot of really new things, as well as some new player movement there. Next up, we'll go over some new gameplay features, like the new subs you can make on field. They call it dynamic substitutions, where essentially if you don't want to go to the pause menu, if you don't have time to do it before the play starts, you can always make substitutions on field. Now you can see here, you can see their status. It has a wear and tear option, obviously that hasn't been activated yet. Maybe it was early in the game. It gives you their overalls. I'm hoping that you can see like their speeds and stuff like that too, because I make the majority of my defensive substitutions on speed. You can see there's like a drop down menu bar here, but I don't know if there's a ability to slide to the right to see other abilities that these players might have. Another on-field audible that you can make is stunts and twists. You can see here that we have 4 different options. I'm not sure if there's more options or less, but you can see they all say man at the end of it, so I don't know if they're talking about these are stunts you can do in man coverage. Maybe there's different stunts you can do in zone coverage. It's really hard to tell, but I do know that once the game comes out, this is going to be one of the first things I try to figure out, is which one of these, or how's the best way to get pressure with these stunts, because every time EA puts something new in the game, they don't bounce it very well. So I'm sure there's going to be a meta stunt. Stick around with my channel if you guys want to figure that out once the game drops. I'll also be making a video about the new coaching adjustments. Obviously now you have the ability to alter the depth of the safeties as well as the width. So if you want them playing more to the sideline, which will obviously give up space up the middle of the field, you can do that if you're playing like a cover 2. This can make cover 2 more viable, in my opinion, cover 2 zone, as you have the option now to change if you want them to start closer to the boundary or if you want them to start closer to the middle of the field. You can do the same thing with the depth. If you like to play with your safeties in the box to help with the run, that might make them more vulnerable against the pass. But last year, a lot of people had to use a glitch where they would use one of the defenses where the safeties would walk down into a blitz and then they would audible out. You don't have to do that anymore because you can change the depth. Next up, we got information on some new abilities, and I'm going to start off with ones that really can affect anybody. Is we have Adrenaline, which is basically a mental ability that's all about recovering from wear and tear when off the field. There's a similar one here for Composure, which is called Hothead. It's another mental ability where this one is basically all about volatility when it comes to composure, gain and loss, but it doesn't just say gain. It's not protecting you against having, composure loss. So if you have the ultimate ability on this, you have the platinum ability, and you have a really bad play, your composure might go into the, might go into the toilet. So this is not necessarily, this is kind of like a double-edged sword here from the looks of it. We got a really good one here for quarterbacks called On Time, which is a physical ability, which basically gives you a boost in accuracy when throwing before the receiver cuts on their route. We have another one here, which I think is for quarterbacks, although it's a little bit confusing. It says Ball Security, which is a physical ability. 3 out of the 4 say improved ball security anywhere on the field, which doesn't necessarily make sense until you read this one here, which I think is probably the silver ability, which says moderately improved ball security when sacked while standing in the pocket, making you think that this is going to be a quarterback ability. But obviously ball security is something that could affect every position, but based off of that, I do think that this is most likely going to be something that's for quarterbacks as well. And then last but not least, this is something that can really be at any position as long as it's a really powerful runner, as it's called Battering Ram, and it's a physical ability where essentially it says that it affects how much the running back can affect the defensive players when it comes to wear and tear. At a small level, at the bronze tier, it's only going to slightly affect them when they try to tackle you. But if you go all the way up to the platinum tier here, you have Heisman caliber moments of finishing runs, making defenders pay with increased wear and tear damage. So that could be absolutely insane. I think that's going to be something that could really be OP, especially in cut. If you somehow manage to put this ability on multiple players on your offense, that could be insane. And then last but not least, we have a defensive ability, which is the only one that they put out, where it's a physical ability called Instinct. It's all about reacting quicker to the run. So I would imagine mostly linebackers and maybe even safeties would have this, but you might see it on defensive linemen who are going to get quicker block sheds because of it, or even cornerbacks, which would be very helpful for outside runs. Next up, I'm going to go over information for Dynasty Mode that was released before I get to what's essentially just all the presentation changes at the end as far as uniforms and stuff like that. We did get a lot of information about the archetypes that are going to be in College Football 26. The list of archetypes for the quarterbacks are going to be backfield creator, which that one I'm not really sure about. That's probably more, that's probably triple option king this year, the same type of thing, where it's going to be for people that run options. You got pure runner, which is obviously just a guy that runs all the time. Dual threat, run and pass. Pocket passer, obviously more of a guy who's a statue in the pocket. When it comes to running back, you got elusive bruiser, which is interesting. North-south blocker, which is probably for like your fullbacks. East-west playmaker, that might be just somebody who's more about stretching the field. Backfield threat sounds more like a receiver, and then north-south receiver also sounds like a receiver. So a lot of really interesting ones there. I don't necessarily have confirmation on any of this. You also have elusive route runner, gritty possession, contested specialist, gadget, which sounds really interesting. That's probably going to be somebody who's not a very good receiver, but they're going to be a very elusive ball carrier that you can get the ball in space, and then route artist, which also sounds a lot like elusive route runner. The tight end has a lot of the similar ones when it comes to gritty possession, physical route runner, which is a little different, possession, pure blocker, and vertical. You can, assume a lot of these based off their names. For O-line, you got raw strength, you got well-rounded, pass protector, and agile. Raw strength and agile really just sound like great physical abilities. We're obviously well-rounded and pass protector. I don't see one for run blocking, by the way, unless raw strength is going to be in that category, but there's a lot of interesting ones there. On defense, we're going to start off with edge. You got speed rusher, edge setter, which is probably more of a defensive run when it comes to setting the edge, and then power rusher and physical freak. For defensive tackles, you got gap specialist, which is probably better for run defense, physical freak, power rusher, and speed rusher. For linebacker, you got lurker, which is going to be, obviously best for making interceptions, stuff like that. Might have high catching stats. Thumper's going to be better for hit sticks. Signal caller is probably going to be higher awareness and higher zone coverage stats and stuff like that. Cornerbacks, you got bump and run, field, zone, and boundary. Boundary is interesting. That might be something where maybe they're better outside the numbers. I'm not really sure what would make them a boundary corner compared to these other things. Then you got safeties, which is coverage specialist, which is going to be best for probably on the back end. Box specialist, which is probably going to be better in the box, obviously. And then hybrid, maybe they can do both. Hybrid to me sounds like more of a physical, like all these seem to have the best physical athlete version, which is like physical freak for DTs. Hybrid's probably the physical version for safeties. We also get a first look at what the trophy, or at least the history of the program, is going to look like. As you have like national championships tabs, conference championships, Heisman trophies. You get to look back to see if any of these individual awards were won by any of your players, which is a really good addition. I know that's something that was sorely missing from Madden for a very long time. It's good to see that it's in college football. Hopefully it'll be in Madden as well. We also have a lot of screenshots of what some of the coaching ability screens look like, some of the recruiting screens look, and a lot of them look very similar, if not the exact same. Although I didn't spend as much time in Dynasty as I'm sure a lot of you guys have, so let me know in the comment section if you see anything different. But for me, these really look about the same. The most that I could say that changed from my perspective is the coaches themselves, as you have a lot more customization this year when it comes to what the coaches are wearing, especially considered last year. I think all you really have was like a sweater, and like there was like 2 options last year. So they did add a lot of that, and they also said they added a lot of that in Madden as well, which kind of lends me to the next part here, which is going to be presentation, as there's a lot of changes to presentation, especially when it comes to what the athletes can wear. And I'll let you guys tell me in the comments if these things are new or old, but you can see like the above the knee, you can see the little bands on the arm here. You got the full sleeve. I don't know how much of this stuff is new and how much of it's old, but here I can see tattoos on this player, which I don't think was in previous games. You can see this little back pad that the Ohio State player has, the different colored knee bands. You can see the pockets on the front of the jersey here, which is something I can't say I've really seen. The towel hanging off the back, which is something I'm not sure if it was in previous games. You always got like the hand warmers, you got the pink shoes, the pink armbands, even the hoodie, which I'm pretty sure was in the old game. So lots of swag there. And then I'm going to end the video with some new intros that were put in the game. Obviously they're not perfect. As you can see, this one here has a little bit of an issue where I don't know what I'm looking at here, but a lot of new intros. The stadiums look great. You get to see some night games and stuff like that. We also get to see a night game with the drone show, which looks really cool with LSU. You get to see just the night game itself is really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video there, though. If you guys want to see more videos that I put out about NCAA coming out, about college football 26 coming out, how to pop up on my screen, just click links. And until next time, thanks for watching, man. Much it out. Need more help or just want to show your support? Then head over to my Patreon and join my team, where you can get exclusive content like ebooks and bonus plays, as well as early access to my vids and more. Link in the description below.